but they are always concerned about women's mortality. So you see, that's the power of women.
We were born alone, and we die alone. Oh.
Hello, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be talking about 5 reasons why women die alone. Okay. Now, before we have this conversation, let me do a quick disclaimer. My apologies in advance for the people who are easily triggered, because I get to create what I desire and the right people get to find it. And I am esoteric knowledge, or I'm like esoteric knowledge. Yeah, esoteric knowledge. And I fly under the radar. So if you don't get it or if you don't understand it, it's probably because you're not supposed to. Okay, now let's have this conversation. Now, why do women die alone? 5 reasons. Oh, I'm only doing 5 reasons. There are a lot more. First, let me say this first. Whenever a woman has standards or she will not tolerate anything from certain men, or she will not settle for just any man or anything, that's when men will often say, oh, she's going to die alone, or you're going to die alone. And it's like, uh, it's usually fear-based, okay? It's usually out of fear. It's a fear tactic that men use to manipulate women because the woman has standards. She is not willing to just settle for any man or anything, or any man who doesn't have much to offer. So they will say she's going to die alone. But really, it's the men who usually die alone, because research have found that women outlive men. Okay. And they didn't even have to do research. Okay. Women live longer than men. So men say this because they want women to lower their standards to pretty much settle. Okay. It's a manipulation tactic that they use. Yes. So, and even if she dies alone because she refuses to settle or lower her value, I mean, lower her standards, well, at least she will die with her standards intact. She will have her requirements, and she will not settle for just any man, any broken man, any dust mite, or any man who is not about much of anything. Okay. So now, what are the, oh, before I move on, I just want to add one more thing. No one is ever really concerned about men dying alone. No one ever says, oh, he's going to die alone because, he doesn't have a woman. He's not with a woman. And it's like, no one is ever concerned about men's mortality, but somehow they're always concerned about women's mortality. It's like the moment a woman has standards or is not willing to lower her standards, suddenly a man is concerned about her dying alone. Suddenly he's concerned about her mortality. You see, it's actually funny. Okay. So, what are the 5 reasons that women die alone? First reason is, one, because death is an individual journey. It's a journey that everyone actually take alone in their minds. No one is really going to know what's happening in someone's mind as they are dying, okay? Because it's an individual experience, as everyone is born alone and everyone dies alone. I mean, in a person's mind, they may be creating different worlds or what have you, but regardless, a person is going to die alone no matter what, because death is an individual journey. And of course, even if the person dies alone, it's like, well, the body's going to die, but the consciousness is eternal. The conscious never dies. So everyone has to die alone because, like I said, death is an individual journey, an individual experience. Okay. Now, what's the second reason? Well, the second reason is because, well, women live a lot longer than men. Well, I said earlier that women outlive men. So women are going to live longer since generally women are going to marry men who are older than they are. By older, I mean 10 years older, 15 years older, or what have you. So since women outlive men anyways, and it's ideal for a woman to marry a man who is older than she is. So of course the woman is going to die alone because after the man dies, she will live longer. So even if she were to marry or be unmarried, she's still going to die alone. Okay? And it's okay because it's better that women marry men who are older because, well, they are more prepared to be providers. Okay. So now, what's the third reason? The third reason is because of the burden of death. Because to a lot of people, death can be a burden. It can be a burdensome experience because, say for instance, like the woman gets a serious illness. She gets a terminal illness, right? Now, it's more likely that a man will divorce or leave a woman who gets a terminal illness because sometimes maybe the woman may push him away, or maybe he's just leaving on his own because he cannot handle it. So she may be left to die alone, to face everything alone, because death can sometimes be a terminal, I mean, not terminal, can be a burdensome experience because men have a higher track record of leaving women or leaving their wives if their wives are diagnosed with a terminal illness or serious illness. Men have a higher track record of doing this, while on the other hand, women have a high track record or a higher track record of staying with men if the man has a serious illness or a terminal illness or even mental health problems, because men tend to get mental health problems when they're like in their 50s, 55 plus and older. That's when men mostly start experiencing certain mental health problems or what have you. So women are more likely to be the caregivers or caretakers, so they will stay with their husbands. While men, on the other hand, men may decide to leave the marriage or abandon the women. So whether she has a man or not, or she gets married, a woman can end up dying alone because death can be a burdensome experience for some. Okay. Now, what's the fourth reason? Now, I'm going to keep the fourth and the fifth reason kind of fun because the other reasons were kind of like a little bit morbid. The fourth reason is because women are getting better at hiding, okay? Hiding from certain men. Okay, since they're getting better at hiding, of course they are going to die alone because certain men won't be able to find them. Okay, because women um are hiding from certain men. So like the broke men, the broken men. Women can, I don't know, die alone in peace. They can die alone with their, like I said, their standards intact, They can die without lowering their standards. They can die without, what was I going to say? They can die without settling for these broke men, without having to do struggle love and go through all these things with these men. Okay. So why is that? Well, because they are getting better at hiding, and these men are not able to find them. Okay. Yes. Now, what's the fifth reason? The fifth reason is because of freedom. Because women have more freedom now, women have more options, women can like have the life experiences that they want, women can have the adventures that they want, and they can have their solitude, they can just do what they want, and they can choose or have the freedom to die alone in peace, and they don't have to be bothered. Okay. Because in the olden days, women used to have to be um, joined at the hip to a man. They had to be with a man. So they wouldn't be spinsters like back then, back in the really old days. Women had to, be attached to a man. But nowadays, or, for the longest time now, women have had more freedom. And since women have more freedom, like I said, they have the freedom to die alone, to have the life experiences they want. Because you have to remember, or you have to, think about this. Marriage isn't always the goal for a lot of women. A lot of women are opting out of marriage. A lot of women are deciding that, well, marriage is not the goal. Money is the goal. Okay. So, yeah. So now women have the freedom to have the life experiences they want. Okay. So, yeah. So I think I'll end it here. Yes, that's all I had to say without saying too much. I hope you've been inspired by this conversation. So be inspired. Bye. Mhm.